Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 53 of Radio Free Filler. For this show, we're continuing with the sixth and final installment of the musical play that changes over 20 years. We'll pick up with Act 3, Scene 2.
Well, we've had our crushing defeat for the evening. What's next? You guessed it, Stephen's long, dark night of the soul. Here he comes, back into his room.
I'm worn out, but I can't sleep. Let's look at this letter.
Voice of James is heard as Stephen sits and reads to himself.
Dear Stephen, by the time you read this, my father will have no doubt told you some of his usual lies. I let him believe that I am furious with you for signing your contract with him. I am not angry at all. He pulled the same thing on me, but I managed to get away by paying him off with a loan and agreeing to work it off at the bank. You must find your own way of breaking free because of the kind of man my father is. His carousing and infidelity drove my poor mother to suicide. His ruthlessness made him a lot of money, so he was able to keep the suicide a secret. He's shrewd as well. He even gave free tickets for my first play to all the police in the area just to get on their good side. Don't worry about him getting hold of Jenny, though. Her father knows enough to protect her, and she knows enough to stay with him. Jenny will be all right. Please refer to the Notes page, which I have enclosed. Notes for New Version. New Version is about the changes beginning in 1916, 20 years after, not 20 years before. Stephen will become head of finance at his uncle's investment firm. Stephen's uncle will withdraw his investments along with a substantial profit and retire. Jenny will marry Stephen's uncle, and the two will move to a mansion far away. Stephen will be forced to resign in disgrace following a scandal in which he is accused of mismanaging finances for his hometown. The tiny town will be annexed by the city and ultimately disappear. Alternate idea. Stephen will join the army and die in combat. A new character, James, will take Stephen's place as head of finance, then resign in disgrace. This is like a nightmare. Wait, what's this little scrap? A third page? Stephen, the Notes page is what I gave my father to read. He approves of it, of course, because it describes his own version of success for him. But I have tricked him with the alternate idea. He thinks that if you join the army, he can get me to take your place in his crooked financial schemes. I put that in as a possible way out for you that he would be willing to accept. I've got to keep this last part short so my father won't be suspicious. Good luck, James.
The change is over 20 years, Act 3, Scene 3. We open on an empty stage. Jenny enters from stage left and remains standing at stage left.
Oh, look, Father, here comes Stephen.
He looks very determined. He must have quite a plan to propose.
Stephen enters from stage left and Jenny and Father cross over to meet him.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Stephen. Well, I think I'll leave you two here to discuss things while I go make some tea.
Please don't go, Jenny. I've got something to discuss with both of you.
Why? What is it?
It sounds like there's been a change of plans.
Yes, it seems my uncle had some plans of his own. One plan for Jenny and one plan for me, but not the same plan. He wants to send Jenny from town to town with a musical play, but keep me trapped working in his home office. He plans to marry Jenny and take her away before he brings me down by scandal.
He can't force me to marry him. He has no hold on me.
No, not yet, because he hasn't placed you under contract. That wouldn't happen until you agreed to tour with the play. But I'm under contract, and I have only one way out.
A military clause?
Exactly. The contract says I can be released only by joining the Army. Uncle would never expect me to consider such a thing, but that's exactly what I intend to do.
And what about Jenny?
Why, Father, if I'm old enough to travel with a play, I'm old enough to travel with you on business. Oh, let's get away from here while we can. We can wait while Stephen advances through the ranks and marry a few years later. There, I said it.
You're a brave young couple. I'll agree to it.
Then let us be on our way now. Goodbye for now, my dearest Jenny. We can send our letters to Hannah at the pottery shop. She'll keep us both informed until we meet again.
Farewell, Stephen. Come, Father, let's start packing.
Virtue shall triumph. Justice will prevail. True love conquers all.
Well, how about that? A happy ending after all. Well, what would you expect from a 1916 play? The changes over 20 years, Clever Limbo Segment 3. Now we got a screen that'll display rolling credits to the accompaniment of celebratory sound and band music. I reckon this'll do.
The role of Stephen was played by young Eddie Gumshoe. Jenny was played by the little pretty girl. Uncle was played by Mac Magnificent. Father was played by Straight Man Foyle. Officer Petty was played by Lady Artifice. Harry Little was played by Corny Jokeslinger. Ruth Little was played by Jennifer. Hack was played by Kinda Contrived. Hannah was played by the gentle pretty girl. James was played by V.O., the offstage announcer. The stage manager was played by the overly busy narrator. The first delivery man was played by Tom Cracker. The second delivery man was played by Tim Cracker. Childhood Stephen was played by Little Peter. Childhood Jenny was played by Little Piper. Chorus girl number 1 was played by the tall pretty girl. Chorus girl number 2 was played by the cheerful pretty girl. Chorus girl number 3 was played by the gracious pretty girl. Chorus girl number 4 was played by JLY. Chorus girl number 5 was played by JLY. Chorus girl number 6 was played by JLY. The villain was played by Mrs. Cook. Little Johnny, the jealous brat, were played by Mrs. Cook. The school teacher was played by Mrs. Cook. Mrs. Cook was played by the crazy pretty girl. Music was performed by the Self-Preservation Jazz Band and Incidental Pickup Combo. Copyright 1936. All rights reserved. Any resemblance between the characters played herein and any persons portrayed elsewhere is purely theatrical.
Changes over 20 years, epilogue. An empty stage. Stephen walks on from stage right. The crazy pretty girl walks on from stage left.
Hello, Mrs. Cook.
Hello, Eddie.
My name is Stephen.
No, Eddie, that was just in the play. That's all over now. There's nobody left but you and me.
What? What about everybody else?
That depends on how you look at it. On the one hand, Hack the songwriter died of a brain tumor a few days after the show. The uncle got wiped out in the 1929 stock market crash and killed himself. Stephen really did die in combat, just like James had planned.
James planned that?
Sure, why not? It was a way to get Stephen out of the way so that he could marry Jenny.
I never thought that James would do that to me.
Look, James created Stephen. That's why Stephen had an uncle and a cousin, but no parents. And since James created Stephen, James could do whatever he pleased with him. After all, he gave Stephen a nice relationship with Jenny and a story with a nice happy ending.
Until Stephen died in combat.
So Stephen died. So what? People don't live forever in real life. Stephen was a character in a play, not a fairy tale. But even so, he had a wonderful time while it lasted.
But it seems like such a waste.
Not at all. Just because something doesn't last forever doesn't mean it's not worth having while it's here. You don't expect a cookie to last forever, do you? No, you just enjoy it while it lasts.
But a cookie is not a person.
But Stephen wasn't a person, Eddie. He was just a role that you took too seriously. Just like Mrs. Cook isn't a person. She's just a role I'm having fun with. You don't seriously think that I really changed from a sack of potatoes to a stereotypical Irish cook, then to a stereotypical 7-year-old brat named Little Johnny, and then to a stereotypical Victorian villain, do you? Or maybe I was supposed to be some kind of hallucination? And what about the scene in the play where I was playing both the stereotypical schoolteacher and the stereotypical brat at the same time? Who would believe that? I may be the crazy pretty girl, but I'm not that kind of crazy.
So, what's the reality? Does the stage manager know?
There's no stage manager, remember? Just some smug fellow who wouldn't give his name. And if it'll make you feel any better, there's no James either. He was just a character in his own play.
And Jenny?
No Jenny, no Stephen, no James, no anybody.
This is unbearable.
Oh, cheer up. Here, have a cookie.
And that concludes our presentation of the changes over 20 years. We hope you enjoyed it. Now let's get back to the rest of Radio Free Filler.
Greetings, Earthling.
Well, well, well. It's our old friend Mullet. Welcome back. Did you enjoy our little entertainment?
If that was supposed to be entertainment, then you humans have some very strange ideas.
Well, I'll admit it was kind of avant-garde. Who were you kidding? I was in it, and even I say it was just plain weird. Well, one person's avant-garde is another person's just plain weird, I guess.
Only among humans. On my planet, just plain weird is just plain weird.
Well, it's all finished now. I'll make sure that the rest of the show gets back to our normal style.
See that you do.
All right, just to prove that I mean what I said, our next act will be a good old-fashioned love song by the newest teenage duet, the Overly Brothers. Take it away, boys. This afternoon was gonna be my golden day. My baby doll was finally gonna see me play. But a great big cloud came and wrecked my plan. I lost my only chance and I'm a broken man. Love got called on account of rain, and now I'm gonna have to start all over again. Another guy is gonna come and take my place, and now I'll never even get to first base. I tried to tell her all about my big league dreams, but now I'm like a baseball arm apart at the seams. I'll never get to show her what I'm all about, cause the first string quarterback is taken around. Love got called on account of rain, and now I'm gonna have to start all over again. Another guy is gonna come and kiss her face, The Overly Brothers, everyone. Weren't they great? I just wish they wouldn't take these little disappointments so seriously.
Yeah, man, these kids today, they don't know nothing about disappointment.
Why, it's our old friend Beat Nick. How are things going for you these days?
Disappointing, man.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't be. That's what I do.
So, what's the latest disappointment in your life?
I got a new song to sing, but I still can't get a backup band.
Gee, that's a shame. Well, maybe your luck will change.
That's why I'm here.
Are you going to make a public plea for a backup band?
No, I'm gonna sing the song anyway.
Wait a minute.
Scooby-Doo,
Don't you think you ought to
get out of my way, man. Here comes. There's a groundhog on the freeway, and he's laid out flat on his back. You can tell from his condition he just met with a truck named Mac. Farther down now, there's a Porsche Scooby-Doo, but it's mostly shards and bits. There's no doubt now what will happen to whatever that Mack truck hits. Now in the city, there's a store with parking spaces far as you can see. But in the front spot, there's no space there, 'cause that big truck is blocking 3. There's a cop car in a speed trap, but don't you know, radar's flashing, but he's out of luck. 'Cause the captain of the precinct says you don't mess with Mac the truck. Now Jenny Driver, ho ho, yeah, Mr. Motorcycle Man, Pete Pedestrian, you're all going down on the sidewalk or the pavement, 'cause old Mackie's coming round. Look out, he's coming round.
Okay. Well, that was certainly disappointing.
Don't mouse my cheese, man.
Beat Nick, everyone. Well, there he was. Now, let's move on. We've got something you'll like a whole lot better. At least we'd better. Do we have anything?
Hold on, son. I got something.
But you're the stage manager.
That's right, son. I've been doing this job for years, and trust me, I've picked up a thing or two.
I've seen you pick up a lot of things, but those are just props.
I mean, I picked up a thing or two about entertaining.
Will that be enough?
It only takes one, son, and I got him right here. Meet my nephew, the bar star.
Well, hello. Would you mind telling the audience your name?
The bar star don't give autographs or interviews.
But I just asked him what his name was.
He don't give that out either.
So what does he do?
This. Take it away, boy.
I got a lot of plans, but they all fall through. And I got a lot of dreams, but they never come true. But I don't mind, I didn't come here to think. I only came to sit and have a drink. 'Cause I'm the star of my place at the bar, and you're stuck inside my movie, whoever you are. As long as you remember that and keep it in mind, for a spell, but even so, it's not your show. I only thought I ought to let you know, 'cause I'm the star of my place at the bar, and you're stuck inside my movie, whoever you are. And as long as you make sure you don't get out of line, I reckon we will get along fine.
The bar star, everyone! Let's give him a big hand, just so there won't be any trouble, all right? That's good. You know, we've got a whole year of episodes behind us now, and the pandemic seems to be letting up, at least locally. The vaccinations are mounting up, the parks are opening up, the mask mandates are getting dropped, and we're kind of wondering when it will all finally end. That's been the difference between this COVID thing and the old regular wars. With a regular war, the other side would usually decide to give up, the thing would be over, and everyone would just get to go home. With COVID, most everyone is already at home and just trying to figure out what to do next.
How about taking on the cicadas?
How do you mean?
You know, like you say cicada and I say cicada. You say cicada and I say cicada. Cicada, 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 cicada.
Let's call the whole thing bugs. Thanks, but I think we'll stick with COVID a little while longer. To round out our show, we're going to try something new. Back in the 1950s, certain nightclubs and TV shows witnessed the rise of what some people referred to as the sick comedians. These included performers like Lenny Bruce, Tom Lehrer, Mort Saul, Shelley Berman, and others whose comedy had a basis in satire or social commentary. Well, not to be outdone, we would now like to present our answer to the so-called sick comedian by going one step farther. Please give a warm welcome to the first dead comedian. Welcome to the show. I wasn't given the usual introductory biography for you, so would you mind telling our audience your name? Come on now, don't be shy. Oh, I understand. You don't want to break character by speaking. That would be like making Harpo Marx talk. It would ruin the entire act. Yes, folks, you've got to admire a performer who shows that much commitment to his art. Well, I was just wondering if maybe we could get a word or two from his agent. Tell me, sir, when did you first discover this brave and innovative artist? Sir? Sir? Well, there you have it, folks, another first. Not only do we bring you the first dead comedian, but also the first dead agent as well. Be sure to tune in again for the next installment of Radio Free Filler.